Good morning everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks On Popcross Studios. Today we're hopping back into the Book of Biunites with episode 4 with the Biunites Community Redraw. Who will be selected, who will be redrawn, and who will be added to the story. Let's hop in and see who the lucky winners are.
For the last month, my audience has been sending in their own original creature designs called Biunites to potentially be worked into my ongoing series, The Book of Biunites. I'm going to show off the stuff that was sent in and redraw 5 of the submissions to be worked into today's story.
5 of them?
If you haven't seen the full series, you might want to go back to the beginning. I'll link the playlist in the cards in the description. But for a
this is going to be nice. It's a 5-piece.
Recap of where he left off last, our father-son narrator duo, Dai Inoue and Akaru Inoue, had just gotten back from watching their young friend, Agama Knight, compete in and win the Global Vigilance League World Championship competition, where he was fighting partner.
Congratulations, Augie.
With his own Biunite, Hodera. Like all Biunite partnered people, Agama can merge forms with his Biunite and use its abilities himself. Now, Dai and Akaru are just starting up a new business called the Biunite Safari and Education Center, and just as they were leaving to go watch Agama's competition, they noticed that some of the Biunites were getting oddly aggressive.
Specifically some of the Dragon Biunites.
It was only when Agama and Akaru went for a hike
Draconic
together through the Safari sector that they finally found a potential answer. A young man was in the Safari sector, a little older than them, and was getting harassed by one of the Biunites. But this guy had attached to him a very dangerous weapon called a biomech, something that Augie and Akaru both knew of as having been created by a dangerous criminal and killer named Bobby Blunt. This guy does seem friendly enough, though, upon their first interaction, so let's learn more about him in today's episode, shall we? Let's go!
Hit like if you want. Subscribe. By the way, enjoy the show.
Enjoy the show.
Here we go.
I didn't really know how to react. I want to say that I leapt in quickly to help calm down the Genghis Moth Biunite attacking this guy, but I just kind of froze seeing Bobby Blunt's biomech again. A perfectly reasonable response. If I walked into a grocery...
Ooh, okay, looks like the first one up is some kind of elephant Biunite. And apparently its main actions is stomping and spitting something. And when fused with a human, and it turns the arm into a kind of trunk cannon. Interesting.
Store and saw someone carrying a rocket launcher with a sword and 2 pistols taped to it, I'd be instantly wary of them too. Yeah, fair, I guess, but Augie didn't hesitate to help. He yelled for the guy to duck before I even knew why. Kyle looked confused, but ducked anyway, and a marble the size of his fist suddenly burst through the air and shot right over him. I looked into the distance past some more trees and saw a marble mammoth Biunite, Marbleiath, stampeding towards us too, scooping up more dirt and rock.
Oh, so the horns are actually made out of marble. Okay.
Into its trunk to condense into another projectile. I froze up even more when a voice came out of Kyle's... I mean, we didn't know the guy's name was Kyle yet, but you get it. Anyway, his biomech spoke.
Oh, this guy again, Phantasmical. Hey buddy, I'm sure there's a tchotchke market somewhere thirsty for your sparkly rocks, but we ain't buying, so scram.
And okay, I know it is just a whole thing and all, but Biomech Kyle is literally just the inverse of Biomech Kayla. It's a dude with a female Biunite, while she is a woman with a male Biunite.
Wait, how are you doing that with your voice, Akaru? Oh, it's this buzzy little toy thing I got online, see?
When you hold it to your throat, it makes your voice go all robotic.
Well, that is interesting to be sure, but why did you have it with you today? I don't know, it's just fun to have around. It doesn't matter. This is a tense moment. Let me get back to it.
Right.
You were right. I'm sorry. Carry on. So the voice sounded like a robotic, I guess slightly more feminine Bobby Blunt, but that just got me even more concerned. Augie got between Kyle and Marbleiath. He tried calming it down, but it looked ready to spit another marble from its trunk, so Augie made a big ice wall to block it. Mohu'uha was still flying over Kyle, though, and was swiping its tentacles at him.
Hey, quit it. Last time I saw tentacles like that was when Bobby Blunt was watching some real crook stuff in his basement, and I'm still traumatized by that, so would you back off?
What did the machine mean by that?
So this machine is actually full-on sentient. Yeah, no, if I remember correctly, back when Bobby Blunt was using them, they were not sentient. They were just pretty much mindless drones that did whatever he commanded. So, This thing is more advanced than that.
I mean, I wouldn't know. Maybe Bobby Blunt was watching videos of squids being tortured or something. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the moth Biunite flew closer
way
to
to
the ground and
dodge it.
swiped its tentacles at Kyle's legs. One of them managed to grab him and yanked his foot from under him, dropping him to the ground.
Alright, fine. You want tentacles? How about these tentacles?
The metal shifted on the biomech, and a mechanical tendril burst out from it and thrust towards the moth. But Kyle grabbed it with his other hand. Charlie, stop. We're not making this mistake again. No more hurting Biunites.
What? I was just gonna tickle him with some big metal knuckles.
That was when I finally jumped in. I might not have trusted the biomech, but it did seem pretty clear this Kyle guy was trying to keep it from hurting anyone. I flung myself off the ground with my hands shifted by my Biunite Hopalima, and as gently as I could, grabbed Mohuuha out of the air. I tried telling it, it's okay.
Catch it
It's
like a
okay,
sandwich.
You're safe. Kyle yelled. Hey, great grab. The further it gets from Charlie, the calmer it should get. Mohuua's tentacles were going nuts, but I just kept trying to act like how Dad had when he was trying to calm down Pokilani. But I didn't do a great job. I tried running
It's a
Mohuua
false
further
try.
away, but his tentacles kept slamming into my legs and stomach. It was really hurting, and I didn't
Ow.
realize how strong he was either, so he ended up flapping his wings and pulling me up off the ground just to hurl me over to Marbleiath, who was
Oh,
trying
no.
to circle around Augie's ice wall. I landed on my feet, but the marble mammoth tackled into me and smacked me into a tree.
Oh,
Hey,
that has to hurt.
As soon as Kyle saw me get hit, he shot a pulse out of the palm of his biomech at the ground, and that sent him flying towards me. He snatched Marbleiath by the horn and slammed him onto his side.
Which
Then
horn?
Kyle said, "If you're gonna hurt anyone, come at me, you furry tripod."
Ooh. Must have gone for the head. The head horn, I mean. Marbleiath. Okay, I like that.
I wasn't that
Part of that name is actually just from Goliath, isn't it? Marble Goliath.
hurt, but it was nice seeing Kyle jump in so quick to help me. Still, we didn't
But it
want
was
to
a
see
twin
any
Biunite,
Biunites getting hurt.
kind of.
Thankfully, Augie slid over on an ice track he made, and before anyone else could throw an attack, he just unmerged from Hodera, I guess to seem like less of a threat, and wrapped Marbleiath in a big hug. Kyle
Hug
raised his
me!
fist like he was ready to swing again, but
Ooh, okay. I don't know what this thing is. Looks like it's maybe based around the Pelagon? No, that's not how you pronounce it. The armadillo cousin. Pangolin, that's it. Looks like it's kind of based around a pangolin, but I'm not sure.
he didn't need to. The Biunite still leered at Kyle angrily for a bit, but soon wrapped its trunk around Augie and relaxed. I looked for
Aw,
Mohuuha,
hugs
but
win.
it seemed like it had finally just flown away. I wanted to think I had calmed it down so it could leave, but I don't really think that was it. I think it just decided to back off. Anyway, Marbleiath eventually calmed down enough to run off, so there was just us, our Biunites, and this new guy and his biomech. So, any chance I can get you guys to pretend you didn't see me here today? I
Now
ignored
without
his
some
question and
explanation.
asked, why do you have Blunt's biomech, and why is it talking?
Why does anyone talk? I got into arrest and stuff to say. More so than most folks, that's for sure.
Charlie, let me handle this. He was eyeing us skeptically. He seemed like he was choosing his words carefully.
Kind of have to.
It's a long story, but I promise I'm nothing like Blunt, and Charlie isn't either. She just sort of inherited the way he talks. Augie jumped in and said, long story or not, we gotta hear it. I'm
Oh,
Alma,
yeah.
by the way. He laughed. Yeah, no kidding. I may technically be living under a rock right now, but I haven't been for the last 5 years. I know who you are. Global Championships just finished, didn't they? Did you beat Freya Sparks? Augie stood tall.
Of course you
Yep,
did.
Freya put up one heck of a fight, but the title is mine. Solid. Great work, man.
But at least 1 year the title will be yours. Can you hold it though?
And, I mean, not gonna lie, I was kind of rooting for Sparks since she's kind of my celebrity crush, but at the same time, I'm glad to see someone naturally bonded to a Biunite taking the title. Hopefully even more people start bashing their bond bands into the dirt now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I sure hope so. So, what's your name? Even with the biomech on this guy, Augie was just acting like he was any other person. It made me feel like I was being kind of judgmental for not calming down, but I was still really tense, no matter how chill this guy was acting.
I mean, I can
He
understand being
paused,
worried.
not answering Augie's question right away. He looked back and forth between us, then finally said, Mikhail. You don't sound too sure about that, Augie said bluntly. Kyle chuckled. I'm sure. I mean, I prefer Kyle since my old man always called me Mikhail, but anyway, I'm just not sure I can trust you guys. No offense. I mean, I know I'm the suspicious one here. I'm not trying to pawn that off into you guys, but
No,
I've
it
got
makes
a
sense
mission
on both
and
sides.
I can't give up on it. You're Akaru, right? You and your dad are the ones making this epic safari to help people learn more about Biunites? I was still pretty direct with him. Yeah, so why are you here with that thing? You know it was made by torturing and killing Biunites to steal their powers, right?
No, the fuel cells were made that way, not the mech itself. The mech is made an unknown way. It's only the fuel rods that are made via the torturing of Bionites. And yes, I know that doesn't make the whole thing pizza keen and okay. I'm just pointing out, you can't blame the whole thing if only the ammo and fuel is made from torture.
Who you calling thing, pal? You're the one with rocks for hands. Anyone see what I did there? No? Anyone?
Kyle ignored the mech's response. Alright, yeah, you deserve an explanation. Just please keep an open mind here. I know Charlie was made by a really bad guy, and I know she looks like she's just a machine, and she can be a bit of a tool sometimes, but I swear, she's got a good soul. I can feel it. I don't know if it's from the Biunites blunt used to make her or what, but it's in there, and I need to help her.
Okay, so, Soda, need a question about, where the hell did you get the damn thing? Ooh, I like this thing. Don't know how to pronounce that
You
name.
know, I gotta say, it is real nice finally having the Ama coloring book out for everyone to grab, and you can color it while you're watching videos like this, along with all the other awesome Popcross coloring books, like we got the Dragons one with lots of cool critters in there, we got the Demons one if you like more spooky sorts of stuff, because there's SCPs and things in there as well, we got Fantasy Beasts if you wasn't already sick of
Ooh, hold on.
Dragons and you wanted more of that.
Just a little lag.
And then nope, okay, just kidding that.
Oh.
That's been announced, I guess, but it ain't out yet. But yeah, if you want any of these coloring books, you can
Damn it.
grab them now on the Popcross Amazon bookstore. I highly recommend this one the most, but I'm a
Here we
little
go.
biased. And you can get that last thing at the end of the line eventually. The Amazon bookstore is linked in the description.
Not
but for
yet,
now, back into the video.
But soon.
The more Kyle talked, the more he kind of sounded like Augie. That was finally helping me relax a bit more as he told his story. A few weeks ago,
Here we
I
go.
got kicked out of my apartment. I'd been paying the rent and wasn't causing any trouble, but my landlord found out I'd lied about my last name. Look, the point is I was basically spending a few weeks homeless, just with a backpack, camping out in back alleys.
Ooh, looks like we got some kind of psychic ghost Mama set thing.
Thinking I might go out and
I
just
don't know.
live in the
Sorry.
forest for a while. Always liked being out in nature anyway. So one night I'm in a sketchier part of town near an old Averitt Corporation warehouse when I hear this sound like a fight had started up. I thought someone might be getting mugged, so I ran over to see if I could help, and there's these two guys with bond bands on and Biunites next to them. One was a four-legged, silver, pedal-plated Biunite that looked a bit like a jackal, and the other
Oh, that's the one we just saw. So this is the next one.
was like a blue kangaroo with a skull head and antlers. I didn't interrupt, but
It is
figured
a
out
Momo
pretty
set,
quickly
then.
that he was talking about Ep4, the bone trickster Biunite, and Ushkopekwe, the efflorescent trickster Biunite. I guess these guys had a theme going. They were
Tricksters,
telling their
yes.
enslaved Biunite partners to attack this thing, as you called her. His biomech said,
Yeah, fine, I know what you want, I'll demonstrate. I wasn't looking like some dude's arm when he found me, I was looking like this.
the biomech jumped off him and formed into a four-legged mechanical creature with one big eye in the center of its face. Immediately after that, it jumped back onto Kyle. Anyway,
I
they had
remember
this
that.
busted open box that they'd been carrying.
That is actually how the Bond ones looked like way back at the season 1 finale.
Charlie in when she broke free. I didn't announce my presence or anything, but I got closer to try and figure out what was up. Charlie was scared, but as I approached, she looked right past them at me. As soon as she looked at me, it was kind of like I could feel her. She felt afraid, but also happy to see me. I know that doesn't really make sense.
No, it
Anyway,
makes
she
sense.
sprinted right between them towards me. I was a bit freaked
She was afraid of the situation that was going on, but then she saw you and immediately felt relief, safe, happy even.
No, but didn't retreat or anything. I'd always wanted a Biunite of my own, but even if I never used them, I was born with powers, so no Biunite partner for me, even if I had been willing to stoop to using a bond band, which I definitely wasn't.
Damn, so people born with the powers literally can't get a Biunite partner? Oh, that actually kind of sucks. I had to ask way back in Season 1 if it was possible. Now we got confirmation right here and now. No, it's not possible.
Akaru.
You gotta have powers or a Biunite. You can't have both.
Ooh, my apologies for interrupting, but just to clarify for our patient listener here, it is not possible for someone born with abilities to make a natural bond with a Biunite. It was also discovered in the era of bond bands that if someone with natural-born abilities used a band to bond with a Biunite, they would instantly fall unconscious the second the Biunite attempted to merge with them. They would only reawaken after the Biunite separated from them. We are not entirely sure why this is the case, but the assumption is that Biunites deem those born with superhuman abilities as not having any use for a companion who can grant them further abilities. Right.
Okay,
good
that's
call explaining
fine.
that. Thanks, Dad.
Still,
anyway,
though.
so Kyle said, I bonded with Charlie and could immediately tell what was going on. It was like I inherited her most recent memories. She'd been in a Protection Bureau storage site when these two guys broke in and stole the crate she was in. She's basically just been lying dormant for the years since she was made by Blunt because she only has enough power cells to move a certain amount before she just powers down permanently.
So wait, she was pretty much just in storage for 5 years doing nothing. Then one random night, these two break in, try to steal her, and then she's like, huh? Hey, I'm sentient. I know it's probably still going to be explained, but just at the moment, it seems like not enough.
But even staying still, she heard what these guys carrying the box were saying, and they said they worked for the Averitt Corporation. Augie and I both looked at each other, but didn't say anything. We were both thinking the same thing. It made sense that Averitt would want the biomech back. They had technically funded its creation. It definitely wasn't beneath them to hire criminals to steal it.
Of course not.
Maybe they'd just waited all this time so there would be less suspicion on them.
Yeah,
Kyle
5
kept
years.
going. Charlie was scared to use her limited power to fight back on her own, but there was also no way she was going to let herself get used by Averitt. Why? I interrupted. The biomech was made by Blunt, who was funded by Averitt. Why wouldn't she want to go back to them?
Thank you.
What, you think
And
I
here's
like
why.
those goons? Just because someone made you doesn't mean you gotta like them. Kyle knows that better than anyone.
Hey, Kyle growled. We're not talking about me and my family here. I wanted to know what he meant,
No,
but
we kind of
I just
understand.
let him keep going with the story.
Now I can kind of already guess Mikhail's history, his past. I'm guessing the dad is some kind of big name person, probably even the actual head of the Averitt corporation, even. All I can say is that the dad is most likely someone, big, up there, well known, until his family name has pretty much become synonymous with something. And Mikhail tried to, separate himself from that family because he didn't want that life. And then X equals Y. Okay. Next up.
Kyle went on.
Oh, another
So
twin one.
obviously, these guys weren't too eager to see someone merge bodies with their mark. They sent their Biunites to attack me. The stone-plated one shot the pedal spikes off its back at me, and they spun through the air in a way that started making me dizzy pretty quick. A bunch of floating eyes appeared
Hurts
around
the
me,
brain.
too. Kyle...
Ooh, it's a new golem. No, it's a dreamstone. Ooh, okay.
didn't seem to know it, but those eyes were actually caused by a Piki. Both of those Biunites have powers that can confuse and disorient people. Anyway, he said, Charlie shifted up to make a helmet over my whole face and head, but also stayed covering my arms enough to give me defense against the spinning pedals slamming against...
Hold on, I gotta pause this, because I was kind of reading a couple of the lines right here, and the last one says, one even said he saw a gopher with a ray gun. That's not how you spell gopher, but if that's how you like saying it real fast in some kind of accent, yeah, probably.
me. I didn't really know what I was doing at first, but Charlie did. She was guiding my arm to make sure I was blocking every attack easily. Then she made me hold open my palm and a pulse of green electricity shot out, making all the spinning plates drop to the ground before sliding back over to the Biunite they came from. The kangaroo-looking one had gotten close enough to leap at me and double-kicked me in the chest. I was sent flying back.
That hurts.
Thankfully, Charlie shifted onto my back, so when I hit the ground, I was mostly okay. I interrupted. You survived a kick to the chest from the Bone Trickster Biunite? How did that not cave in your ribcage? He shrugged.
I don't know.
I guess Charlie protected me from that, too.
Of course I did. I could tell the second I found this smooth operator that he was gonna be my ticket to freedom. I wasn't gonna let him get hurt.
Hearing that just made me more skeptical of the biomech. It sounded like it only cared about Kyle because of what it could get from him. Kyle was kind of growing on me fine at that point, but I still didn't trust.
Yeah, I say Kyle's fine, but definitely keep an eye out on that biomech.
This thing. Kyle kept going. That was when Charlie spoke to me for the first time, and she said we should get out of there, but I couldn't just leave those poor Biunites with those criminals. They were only
you gotta
with
break
them
the
because of
bonds.
the bands. It's like kidnapping. Anyway, long story short, I got more acquainted with how Charlie can fight, and we managed to smash both those guys' bond bands. They managed to get away after that, but at least I separated their Biunites from them. Augie chimed in for the first time and asked, "If you separated them from their Biunites, they would have been powerless, wouldn't they? Why didn't you restrain them after that or something? Did you call the Protection Bureau on them?" They pulled out guns, so they were still dangerous.
Yeah, they pulled out guns.
I probably could have taken them, but with their Biunites free, I just didn't really care about them. Plus, if I called the Protection Bureau, they would have just taken Charlie away, and I knew I couldn't let that happen. She could be a goner without me. Her fuel cells are almost totally dried up, so now she can only stay fueled up by sharing the energy from someone else's powers. Nobody at the Protection Bureau is going to see Charlie as her own sentient being because of the damage Blunt caused with her, but if I can get her to the ultimate fuel source, she can get fueled up and be good for decades. That's why we're here. We're looking for Kahigona.
One shot of Elder Dragon juice and I'll be powered up for the rest of my life. If Big Papa Dragon can cause earth-shaking tidal waves, I should easily be able to borrow a tiny fraction.
And now we see why the draconic Biunites are going crazy. Look, I can understand the plan and the sentiment, but here's what's gonna happen. You're not doing that.
Fraction of his power without messing him up like I did with that cat dragon.
Kyle shot his arm a concerned look, but then said, Yeah, what Charlie means is, us being bonded is taking a bit of a toll on me. And not much, but enough that we want to find a permanent power-up for her fast. We got kind of impatient, which might be partially because I saw Wymalea flying around and I didn't... Anyway, we wanted to get Charlie powered up ASAP. So, a few days ago, when we saw Pokilani, the Asian dragon Biunite, we tried absorbing some power from her through Charlie's tentacles. Since all dragon Biunites are extra powerful, we thought she may have enough to lend Charlie and still be okay.
Uh-oh.
But a few seconds in, I knew something was wrong and stopped Charlie.
Oh, well, yeah.
Pokilani's eyes turned red and she went nuts, attacked us, then flew off. Anytime Charlie gets a bit too close to any Biunites, most of them will get pretty spooked or angry or sometimes even attack us. But I swear,
kind of obvious
we're not going to try sucking the power from any other than Kahigona. Learned our lesson there. We just need to find Kahigona, then we're gone, I swear.
Just a single drop.
I know it might seem nuts to trust something made by a psycho like Blunt, but trust me, I can feel it. Charlie isn't like him. A bit mischievous, sure, but she's got a good soul, and I also know what it's like to have people think you're a monster because of who your dad is. He looked like he was unsure of whether he could say the next bit. Part of me almost thought he was going to say he was Bobby Blunt's kid. It wasn't actually that far off. Look, I don't like telling people this, but my full name is Mikhail Malamor. My dad is the psychopath Jensen Malamor. And if that makes you trust me less, then fine, but I'm not giving up on Charlie.
Who is that again?
I've had enough people giving up on me.
Yeah, no, seriously, who is that again? I kind of don't remember. You know I'm bad with names. Come on, people. I'm sorry. I like this golem.
I was really feeling for Kyle, but something still didn't sit right with me. I thought something in my gut was saying that the biomech...
There was a TV. There was a frickin' TV!
Really couldn't be trusted. Other Biunites clearly didn't like the biomech, so why should I?
Is that Geodude?
But then I thought, again, maybe I was just being judgmental. Augie said,
Well, I'm definitely happy to help you. You seem like someone who learns from his mistakes, and you're obviously determined to protect Biunites. I trust you, so if you trust Charlie, then I do too.
Augie being on board made me feel like I should be as well, so I just did my best to ignore my doubts. Kyle did seem like a really cool guy. Neither Augie nor I judged him for being the kid of a serial killer. We knew that wasn't his fault. After we chatted a bit more, he showed us where he'd been
Okay, that is a serial killer, just as I thought. He is someone big and bad. Still don't remember who.
living. It was a half-hour walk from where we'd found him. We moved from the Kolosek region of the safari sector to Mount Hakupo, the rocky mountain near the middle of the safari. We hiked about 5 minutes up the mountain and found a cave. Kyle told us, I needed a place to sleep where other Biunites wouldn't get riled up by Charlie and attack us. We found this cave on the second night in the safari. I saw a Biunite near the entrance and was just gonna leave, but it approached us really slowly, not like it was about to attack. I don't know
Like it
why,
was
but it
curious?
wasn't threatened by Charlie at all. Maybe because it knew it didn't have much time left to be afraid. I looked it up on my phone after. It was a really old Biunite, the Dreamstone Biunite Mopohaku. It came,
Oh, that one. Okay, yeah,
came
yeah.
up to us and put a hand on my chest. I couldn't really tell what it was doing, but I felt really relaxed and kind of drowsy. A few seconds later, it backed away and gestured us into the cave like
It's called
it
the
was inviting
Dreamstone.
us into sleep. I passed out almost immediately and had some really nice and really vivid dreams. When I woke up, Mopohaku was, well, like that. Kyle gestured to the ground as we walked into the cave, and I noticed that the rocks laying near the wall were the stone segments of Mopohaku's body. Its hands
Aw.
were over its chest like a person in a coffin. There was none of the purple light running through it that had held its limbs and body together. I think it knew it was about to pass on and just offered us its home. Not gonna pretend I didn't have a bit of a cry the
That's
next
actually kind
morning
of
seeing that it
sweet.
had died, but it just reminded me not to take this place for granted. I had come across Mopohaku a few times
What a kind
before.
Biunite.
From what the Malayo people had told us, it had been nearly 400 years old. I liked the idea that it had gotten a chance to give someone shelter before it passed. I made sure to mark in my book of Biunites that it had died later. For clarification, Akaru has been working on a book titled The Book of Biunites, logging all of the Biunites
Yep.
in the safari sector to sell as a key item of the education center's shop.
Good thinking.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that earlier. Wait, didn't I? You had not. I had expected you to mention it sooner, as it is one of the primary things you speak of in your day-to-day life, but I do not believe you had
Yes,
mentioned
the Book
it.
of Biunites.
Jeez, well, whatever. There's a lot going on here. But yeah, I updated my book of Biunites later to say that Mopohaku had passed away. We got farther into the cave where we saw...
That also answers another question, that actually Biunites can indeed die of old age. I thought the only way they could die is, intervention of an external force. But no, they actually can pass on just from old age. Of course, it probably differs depending on the actual kind of species and material of the Biunite.
a light, but also heard something rummaging around. Kyle looked surprised too. He ran ahead and we followed him. We came around a corner to see a Biunite chomping away at scattered food next to a destroyed cooler. No, come on, Kyle groaned. Then Charlie said,
Alright, you nibbly red ghoul, I hope you know I'm cooking you up to replace that food you ate.
I recognized pretty quick that it was the rolling serpent Biunite Fajisho. It looked up at us
Fajisho.
pretty relaxed
Okay,
at
that's how you
first,
pronounce
but
it.
when it locked onto Charlie, it growled. Charlie started sparking with green electricity again, but Kyle said, it's not a big deal. Relax, Charlie. I know you're just protecting me, but we're trying to make a good impression here, right, pal? The Biunite curled up into an armored
Yeah.
ball and spun in place
Uh-oh.
like it was revving up. Charlie said,
Oh yeah, sure, by all means, you handle this without me, champ.
the Biunite suddenly charged at us and leapt off the
The damn thing's pulling a Sonic!
ground right at Kyle. He just ducked underneath it. If I don't have to fight, I'm not hurting any more Biunites. Fajisho landed on the other side of him and thankfully just kept rolling out of the cave. Kyle was clearly a bit frustrated, but not as much as I would have expected. He went over to his mangled food and just kicked some of it around. He sighed, but laughed to himself. I guess this is gonna call for another supply run. He didn't let it get to him,
That's
and
a
I
bit of a
respected
shame.
him for that. But I was still nervous about what other kinds of trouble this biomech could bring to the safari sector. And I was right to be worried.
Oh, great. I mean, all it needs is a single drop of that ancient dragon blood, and then it can get on. But now the pod is getting that dragon blood.
Huge thank you to everyone who submitted for this episode, and specific thank you to the people who were chosen. A Dragon Knight, Anonymous.
That said king. That clearly said dragon king. Hold
Specific
on.
thank you to the people who were chosen.
That clearly says a dragon king.
A Dragon Knight, Anonymous, Bees of the West, Benson Stolworthy, and Benanza. Now for the next
Bonanza.
podcast
I like
community
that one.
redraw, I want you to submit whatever you want. It can be a creature, character,
Ah.
superhero, your own original
Anything.
creation, whatever it is. Just submit anything and submit one paragraph explaining what this creature is or character is, what its abilities are, where it's from, name. Not a
Ooh.
crazy amount of information, but tell me something about them. I still don't even know what I'm going to do with them. I'm going to figure it out from going through the submissions and see what I get inspired to do. But besides that, that's all for today, except of course for ending this video on some kind of positive or inspiring note. And the thought I want to leave people with today is the idea that
you
sometimes
got?
doing lots of work sort of half-heartedly isn't nearly as useful as doing a bit of work with full intensity and focus. I think this applies to a bunch of areas of
Ooh.
life where you might feel like you're stagnating.
kind of get it.
But for me specifically, this came up because there was a period of my life a few years ago where I was going to the gym 5 days a week for an hour or more each time, and I wasn't really getting into the fitness level that I wanted. Like, I liked how I looked, but I wasn't crazy about it. Now I'm in a routine where I'm not even going to the gym, I'm just doing some weightlifting stuff from home. Then I'm also
That's
doing
fine.
things like going for walks and some cardio things. But the point is, I'm getting way better results now by doing less, because when I am doing the stuff, I am doing it with full intensity and focus. Now
That's
I
how
can
you
get
do
more
it.
out of 2
Good job.
sets than I used to get in 4. Because the first couple sets I would be going kind of half-heartedly because I knew there were more sets coming later. So consider reflecting on that and how that could apply to other areas of your life, or in fitness for yourself. I hope it's inspiring. I love you.
Oh, and that's going to be the end of it. Alright, that's going to be the end of today's video. I hope you all enjoyed it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Link to the original will be in the description below, and I'll see all of you next time when we flick back on. Till then, this is Fox, signing out. Peace.